So today we will start another topic, and to start it, let us uh, let me draw the diagram first. So if you have a MOSFET M1, let us say, simple one which I am taking right now, and you have resistance which is connected to this MOSFET. Here you have this as R1, and then we have VDD, and this is your uh, signal that you are applying, a small signal, and this is the small signal voltage that you are getting at the output. So I told you earlier also, and I'm telling you again repeatedly the same thing. And the thing is that what you are doing is you are actually replacing this particular device, which is a highly non-linear device, with a linear elements. And why we are doing that? We are doing it because we can easily apply KCL and KVL to the, because we know nodal analysis, we know KCL and KVL, and we know all the other theorems also, like Thevenin theorem, Norton theorem. So there are many of them, and we know that they are only applicable on linear elements. So what we do is we replace this MOSFET model, which is highly nonlinear, by a linear model, which represents something like this. So V in, then what you do, you replace the MOSFET by a linear set of elements which you can analyze. So what is this? These are all linear set of elements. So you have some resistance here, then you have some other current source also, which we already discussed, which is GMP VBS. So you replaced it by a small signal equivalent so that you can do KCL and KVL, and then you attach the resistors here R1, and note that this is ground now. Earlier this is VDD, but here it is ground. And why it is ground? As you have studied in your earlier courses also, that in small signal analysis all the voltage sources are ground. That's why this is ground over here. And similarly, the source of the M1 is also ground, so it is here grounded. And here you have a MOSFET, here you have a resistance also R pi. In case of BJT you have this resistance, but in case of MOSFET this resistance is infinity. By saying infinity means the resistance is of having very high value, so it's a open circuit. That's why it is like this. And you have a voltage source which is connected like this in between VGS, and this is the small signal representation of this MOSFET M1, which is now linearized. So it is now linearized, and earlier it was highly non-linear. You cannot do any analysis on this. So you have to linearize on the small segment of ID versus VDS curve. So you are operating somewhere here, as I discussed also last time. So if you are moving around this little point, it's a linear model which is represented by this. So I think you are comfortable with this analysis. So let us discuss today one more thing, and the thing is, if you have a circuit which is given by this. So let us say we have a circuit here which is M1. So what you want to do is you want to bias this circuit properly first. And why we want to bias this circuit properly? We want to bias this circuit properly so that it is operated in proper region in the ID versus VDS curve, because we want it to work in saturation so that it works as an amplifier. So what we want is the ID versus VDS characteristics. We want the Q point to be somewhere here. This is the Q point, that is the operating point. So the operating point has to be fixed properly so that it's operating in saturation. It should not be, operating point should not be selected here or here or here, because in this region it's in triode and the transistor will operate as a resistor. So that's why we should select operating point in such a way that our Q point should be here. So once we select that, so how we will do that? We will do that by applying proper VDS and proper VGS, the DC voltages, to this device so that it properly sets at this point. So in order to do that, what we do is we use some common. This is the one which is quite common, as you might have seen it in case of your BJT analysis also. Do you know what is this called? This particular configuration, the one which I am drawing here. Anyone? Have you studied this in your earlier classes? This one? BTech students, have you studied this architecture earlier? In case of MOSFET, if it is BJT, then I am sure that you would have studied it in your earlier classes. No one? Have you studied? I cannot hear. Any one of you?
Yes, sir, but I don't remember perfectly.
Okay, okay. So this is basically, one way of biasing the transistor. So here you have M1 transistor and you are biasing it using this particular configuration where you have two resistances R1 and R2 connected like this, and RL, which is the load device which is connected at the drain of M1. So, what is the advantage? What is the purpose of adding R1 and R2? The purpose of adding R1 and R2 here is, as you all know, the gate current here will be zero. We've already discussed it that in MOSFETs the gate current is zero. The voltage at this point will be simple voltage divider. So, what is that value? The voltage at this value will be VDD divided by R1 plus R2 times R2. This is the voltage that is at this point, and the value of this voltage is this, and this is also called as VGS, the DC voltage which is VGS. So this is calculated in this way. And what is this? This voltage is VD, and its value will be VDD minus IDRL. ID is the current which is flowing in the MOSFET from this side. So if you apply KVL here, then you will get VDD minus IDRL. So this is the voltage which you have in at this point. So how will you ensure that your MOSFET M1 is operating in saturation? You can ensure it by satisfying this condition, which is Vg minus Vd less than Vth. This we have already discussed so many times. So based on this condition, you can ensure that your MOSFET M1 will be in saturation. So this is the way you force your transistor M1 to lie at this operating point. And based on this condition, you select the values of R1 and R2 and RL so that this condition is satisfied. So once this condition is satisfied, you are operating in a saturation region. So now the second thing that comes is, once you have set the operating point, you will apply a small signal on top of it. So how will you do that? You will do it by this way. So this is your MOSFET M1, this is your load resistor, this is your R1, this is your R2. Here you are connecting it like this. So you have earlier here R2. So this is R1, this is your VDD. So how will you connect a small signal to this circuit? You will connect it by using a capacitor. So you connect a small signal, voltage like this through capacitor. So once you connect this through capacitor, what happens is capacitor blocks the DC voltage. So it blocks the DC voltage means it will not allow DC voltage that is present over here to interfere at this point. So it blocks the DC voltage, but at the same time it passes the AC voltage which is passing through the capacitor. So what happens is at this point you will have a DC voltage, you will have a VGS which we have already calculated. This one, this value of VGS will be there. This is basically VDD R2 over R1 plus R2, and then on top of it you will have a small signal Vin that is sitting on top of it. So this is the, if you try to see in simulation, when you will run this in simulation, at this point when you will see what is the voltage, it will be the white one. You cannot see the pink line, but the white signal will be sitting on the DC voltage, and the value of that will be this. And once uh, and when you want to take the output, you will be taking the capacitor here. So at this point when you will see, you will get a profile which looks like this, and you will have a amplified signal which is amplified version of this signal which is here, and this value, the DC value, will be VDD minus ID RL, whereas this signal, the signal sweep that you are seeing here, it will be GM VGS, and this signal here is VGS, the one which we are applying here. This is a small signal, and this will be GM VGS. It's amplified by GM VGS. And once you pass the capacitor, once you pass this waveform through the capacitor, because this is the capacitor which is here, it will block the DC voltage. So at the output, what you will get here is an amplified version of the signal, and this will be GM VGS. So this voltage is available here, and this profile, this voltage is at this point. So any confusion here regarding this explanation? Okay, so if there is no confusion, then what you do normally is, if you have a circuit which looks like this, RL, then you have R1, then you have R2. So you have R1 here and R2 here, and then you have a signal which is connected to it by a small signal 1 which is V in 1, and then you have a capacitor C, and then you have V out this side, and can be a load resistor also here, RL. So what you do is, if we want to analyze this circuit, you divide it into two parts. The first part is called as DC part, and the second part is called as AC part. So in DC part, you already know that you will retain the DC voltages. So the circuit that corresponds to DC part will be nothing but this one. This will be the circuit. It will be R1, RL, R2. And the main purpose of doing the DC analysis, I have already told, it is setting up the Q point. And when you are doing AC analysis, what you have to do, you have to short the VDD to ground, and if there are any current sources, you have to make it open circuit. This is what you have to do when you are doing small signal analysis. The voltage sources, the VDD voltage sources, will be grounded. So if that is the case, your MOSFET M1 will become like this. This is RL. This will be grounded because I have told you already that VDD will be grounded, and this is already ground, and then you have resistor R1, R2, and this is connected to this point. This will also be grounded because this is connected to VDD, and now you will have a voltage input V in, which is a sinusoidal voltage input, and here you will get output which is small signal V out. So what happens is, basically this is the main circuit that you have, and what you are doing is, you are inherently inside the circuit, it is happening that this is equivalent to this plus this. So inherently it is operating like that way, that is DC plus AC. You are not able to see it, but this DC plus AC combination is happening inside, and it's working collectively to get you this. So this is what happens. So this time in this lecture today, what we will do is, we will discuss these type of circuits. So this circuit will be discussed, and its variants will be discussed, and we assume that the transistors are biased properly in saturation, and that's why we can replace all these MOSFETs M1 by their corresponding linear circuit models, which we have discussed here, this linear circuit model. So we assume that all the analysis that we are doing today in this class, that the MOSFETs M1 will be in saturation. So I'm not doing DC analysis here. I am not doing any DC analysis. I am doing AC analysis only, assuming that all the transistors are properly biased in saturation. That is what my assumption is. So any questions here regarding this concept? So the important thing is this DC part, this DC part, the one which I am discussing here, it can be different. This, by saying different, means there are multiple ways of doing DC analysis. But in AC analysis, the circuit will more or less remain the same. So by saying that means in DC analysis, you can do this type of DC analysis also. Like you can have this type of configuration also, where you have uh, a resistor like this, which is like, let us say, R1, and then you have a resistor here which is RL, and then what you do is you connect like this. This is your, let us say, R2. Okay, so if this is the situation, you can have this type of circuit configuration in order to bias this transistor in saturation. So what happens is, in DC analysis, what happens is the drain current actually flows like this, and there is no drain current flowing here. It is zero because it is always connected to ground. There is no drain current, so it's basically there is no point in putting R2 here, because R2 has no role, because the current flowing here is zero. So I times R2 will be 0. So there is no drop here. There is no drop here. So whatever voltage you have at this point, the same voltage will be at this point. So this is some way or the other equivalent to a diode connected transistor. Everybody agrees with that? It is some way or the other equivalent to that.
Yes, sir.
So because the resistance into I will be 0, so it's a short circuit. So it's a diode connected transistor. So in DC analysis, you can see that it's a and you know that this transistor we proved last time, it is always in saturation. So this VGS is automatically set. VGS bias is automatically set when you connect gate to drain. It automatically adjusts itself, and we proved it last time that this MOSFET is in saturation. This is always true. But now you understand, if you want to do the AC analysis of this, what you want? You want in AC analysis, there should be no connection between this and this. You observe here, there is no connection, right? In between gate and drain. It is open circuited. So if there is no because if you connect them, the gain will fall down. Because you are directly connecting the gate to the drain, there will be no gain at all. Because if you connect these two together, there will be no gain, because gate is equal to drain. So we want this to be open circuited here. So if you want to make this open circuit, what we can do? Any one of you can answer? By seeing this, in DC condition, it is showing you it's a short. If I want to make it a open, then what I have to do? Can anyone answer? Any one of you? Okay, so if suppose your R2 is very high, if your R2 is very, very, very high, let us say it's 1 mega ohm, what does it mean? It means the resistance is very high and it's like an open circuit. Is it true or not? So,
Yes, sir.
so what we do is we design this MOSFET in such a way that R2 is kept as very large resistance. So if R2 is very large, that is equivalent to open circuit. So now when you combine it with DC, the DC equivalent will be like this. Because you will be applying a capacitor here, and then you will apply a AC signal V in. So you know, once you put this resistor, this R2 very high, it is some way or the other, it's giving a feeling to this AC circuit that it's an open circuit here, and this will be grounded, and this is all will be this is the one which we will have here. In earlier case, if R2 was small, then what will happen is, then this will be connected to this, and whatever voltage you are applying here, the same voltage will be at this point, so your gain will be 1. So it's not amplifying. So in order to amplify it, you want this part to become open circuit. So that's why we want resistor to be implemented with a very high value. So this is another configuration that you can see, in which you have AC, DC analysis going on to set up the Q point, and then you have AC analysis for amplification. So these are the two things that I discussed, and you can see, whenever you take any configuration from book, you will see it's a combination of any random resistances connected to this MOSFET, and a voltage source V in which is connected like this. But at the end, what it is actually, it is a combination of a DC plus a AC part. And today we will discuss AC analysis, and we assume that DC analysis will always be keeping the transistor in saturation. So the first circuit that we will discuss today in this topic is common source amplifiers. Common source or CS amplifier. So what is a common source amplifier? The common source amplifier is in this fashion. If you have a common source, then its source will be common to both the drain and gate terminals. So you have a drain terminal like this, RL, and then you have a V in this side. So this is basically a common source configuration, where your source is basically common. By saying that means, here you have a drain voltage which is VD, and if you are taking a voltage out at this point, it is always VDS. And if you apply V in, which is actually VGS, you see S is common to both of them. So you are taking with respect to source, and the source is common to both the things. That's why we are calling it as common source configuration. So if this is the situation, then if I want to do a small signal analysis of it and see what is the voltage gain of this, okay, one thing more I want to discuss is that you are replacing this particular thing by a model like this, and then what you are actually looking for is, you want to see that, you always try to come up with, you want to characterize this in terms of the input resistance, output resistance, and the voltage gain these transistors are offering. So we want to always calculate three parameters from any of the configurations, whether it is common source, common drain, or common gate, which we will discuss later. But the three parameters that we are always interested in is the input impedance that you see from here, that is called as input impedance, the output impedance which you see from here, and the voltage gain that this particular topology generates. So these three things are of always interest to us. So whatever configuration or the analysis that we will do today, we will always calculate Z in, Z out, and the voltage gain for different configurations. So let's start with this basic one only. So if you have this MOSFET M1, where you have this RD and then you have VDD, and this is common source, and you have V in here. So if I want to calculate the voltage gain as well as the input impedance and output impedance for this. So what we do is we do nothing but just replace the MOSFET M1 by its uh, equivalent that we have already discussed so many times. So what we will do is we will write V in here and then we replace it by its MOS equivalent, which is like this. Source is grounded. Then we have, see, depends. If your lambda, if I am giving lambda is 0, that means your this particular resistance will be open circuited. This is open circuited if lambda is 0. If lambda is there, and if I'm saying lambda is not equal to 0, then you put a resistor here and the value will be RO. Right now I am not putting it, so it's open circuited, and then you have output resistance RD connected to this. So this is your V out. So if you want to calculate the voltage gain, which is, first of all we will calculate the input resistance. So what is the input resistance for this? You are looking from this side, and the input resistance, if you are looking from this side, means equivalently you in the circuit you are looking from this side. So this is your input resistance. So when you see the input resistance Rin, it is nothing but it's a infinite resistance because it's open circuited here. So Rin will be infinity. Okay. So now let us calculate the voltage gain and then we will calculate the output resistance. So what is the voltage gain here? Voltage gain is very simple. As you can see, this is the current that is flowing here, that is GMVGS. So it is coming from this branch like this. It is going like this. So the drop that it creates is plus minus here. So what is the value of V out? Value of V out is minus ID, that is the drain current which is flowing, times capital RD. Why minus? Because with respect to ground, the value is minus. So we have here minus GM VGS capital RD. This is your V out. And what is value of VGS? Value of VGS is VG minus VS times RD. And if you put value of VG is what? Value of VG is V in. What is the value of source? Source is grounded. So it is 0. So you have RD here. This is your V out. So what is the value of V out by V in? The value of V out by V in is minus GM RD. Any confusion here? If you have any questions in this derivation, let me know. Any
No,
questions?
sir.
Okay. BTech students, do you have any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, okay. So if it is okay with you, are you comfortable with the KCL KVL, right? If you have any questions, let me know at any time. So so this is the voltage gain. Now let us calculate the output resistance. So note, when you calculate the output resistance, what you do is, like for example, if you have any circuit here, I am calling it as N will be any complex circuit, we don't know. It has two inputs, it has one input and one output. This is always grounded. So if you want to calculate the output resistance, what you do is you apply a test voltage here at the output terminal, and this will give you a current test current output. And what you do, you connect the input terminal to ground like this. So if you connect the input terminal to ground and you apply a test voltage Vt and test current It, then whatever resistance that you will get is Vt over It. If you calculate this, you will get the resistance RT, which you are looking from here, and this RT is basically nothing but R out. So this is the way you calculate the output resistance. So if your network is like this, here you have GM-VGS. This is your network. So this ground is the same as this ground and this ground. and then you have nothing here, but you have a RD resistor connected like this. And now what happens is, I am grounding this side, which is the input side. So here I will do a ground, and this is also ground. This is source, this is gate. So if both the gate and source are ground, that means your VGS is 0, because gate is also grounded, source is also grounded. If VGS is 0, then GM VGS will be 0. And if GM VGS means 0, means if a current source is 0, means it is open circuited. So there is no current source. It is equivalent to a open circuit, because your GM VGS is 0. And if it is 0, now what you do? You apply a test voltage here. So if you apply a test voltage like this, what is this now? There is no current flowing here. Whatever current is this IT, it goes to RD. And the drop it creates is like this. So VT is equal to IT RT, sorry, IT RD. So RD, R out is equal to VT over IT, which is RD. So this is your output resistance for this particular configuration. So uh, this is basically the characterization of the common source amplifier, and you can see now that the voltage gain is GMRD, output resistance is RD, and input resistance is infinity. So these three parameters are calculated for this transistor, which is like this. You can calculate yourself for lambda not equal to 0. So if lambda is not equal to 0, what will be the value? That only changes this particular thing here. You will have a resistor connected like this, which is having RO. So you can calculate yourself what will be the impact when lambda is not equal to 0. So I can only tell you the answers to it, that if lambda is not equal to 0, your voltage gain will become GM RD parallel RO if lambda is not equal to 0, and Z in will be infinity, and Z out or R out, you can say, will be RD parallel RO. These are the answers. You can check yourself that if lambda is not equal to 0, these are the answers. Okay, so this is basically one of the configurations. Let us discuss second configuration of common source, which we call as common source stage with current source load. This is what we are calling it as. So let us discuss what is this. So if you have a configuration which looks like this, here you have M1, then you have V in here. So you already know this configuration, which is very simple. That is this. So what people have done is, instead of using this resistance RD, this resistance RD is called as, basically this is a passive resistor. So RD is a passive resistor. So what they do is they replace this RD, because it takes large amount of area when you design this circuit on chip. So this particular RD will take large amount of space. So in order to reduce the space, what they do is they instead of putting RD like this, what they do is they replace this RD by this thing like this here, and they write it over here. Let us say this voltage as fixed voltage, which is BB, and this is your V in. So can anyone tell me that how these people are replacing this by this? Like what is the theory behind this? Like how can RD be replaced by this MOSFET, and how can you be sure that this value will be, this value will be like, anything. It will not be sure that it will not be equal to RD, but it will give you a resistor. How can you be sure about it? Can anybody tell me, like, why we are doing this? Anyone? See, the thing is, this RD takes lot amount of space, but if you design it through a MOSFET, it takes less space. That is the first thing. And the second thing is, you try to make sure that this transistor is in saturation. If this transistor is in saturation, it will offer some high resistance. You already know that if you have a transistor in saturation, and if you take ID versus VDS here, or if you take the derivative, this slope is very high compared to this slope in the triode region. So it is also offering you a active resistance, which is RO, which is much higher than the resistance that you have here, RD. So basically, some way or the other, we are trying to replace the passive resistance by the active device. This is basically called as active device. This one is called as active device, and here it is called as current source load, because you are actually trying to model this transistor, the pink transistor on the top, with a characteristics like this, and you want this transistor to be somewhere here, and this is the area of common, this is the area of current source. I told you already that this is the characteristics of current source. So as you force this transistor, pink transistor, to lie here, it is working as a current source. That's why we are calling it as current source load. So it's acting as a load means nothing but, RL or RD, the device, the resistance that we connect at the output of this M1. So this is a common stage with current source load. So if you want to do the analysis of this, how will you do it? You will do it as simple as that. So if you have this transistor, which is M2, this is your VDD, this is your V bias, and this is your MOSFET M1, and this is your V in. So what happens now is, like, uh, first of all, you observe that this is the MOSFET M1, which is the main MOSFET. It is having a common source configuration, and this MOSFET, on the top of it is having some load, which is M2, and you can feel that it is somewhere or the other equivalent to this, that you have V in here, and you have some resistance like this, which is R, that you have to find out. So this R you have to find out, and this R is actually implemented by this MOSFET M2. So how will you find out? You will find out if you look from this side. If you look from this side, you can find out that what resistance this MOSFET is offering. You cannot look from here or here, because they are not connected to M1 directly. M1, M2 is connected to M1 from this side only. So we will look from this side and see what is the resistance this particular device is offering, and then we will put it here. Any doubts here with respect to this? So M2 is a PMOS transistor, and I told you already that M2, M1, whether it's a PMOS, NMOS, their small signal equivalent is same. So let us replace M2 by its equivalent, which is like this. So both of them have a same, same thing. So here I am assuming that this lambda is not equal to 0 for this MOSFET M2. So if it is not 0, then you will have RO2 here. And here you have VGS. And what is happening now? You are actually, looking from this side. By looking from this side, you are actually seeing from the drain terminal of M2. This is the drain terminal. So if you are looking from the drain terminal of M2, that means you are connecting the test voltage at M2, because you are checking the resistance from here. So this is the thing. You are actually connecting the you are actually seeing from the drain. That's why we are applying test terminal at the drain, because this is drain terminal, you already know. What is source? Source terminal is grounded because it is VDD and you are working in the small signal regime. So in small signal all the voltages are grounded, so it's grounded here. What about the gate terminal? The gate terminal is also connected to a constant bias voltage. This is a constant bias voltage VB, which is constant and it's same as that of VDD, so it is also grounded. So if both the connections here and here are grounded, that means your VGS is 0, because both the sides are grounded. The gate is also grounded, source is also grounded. If that is the thing, then this will be again current, the current source will be 0, GM VGS will be 0. And you already calculated that VT over IT now will be RO2. So you know, when you are looking from the drain terminal of this particular common source load, the resistance that you are seeing by looking from here to the top is RO2. So what you can do now is, you can replace this resistance which is given over here by RO2. So if you can do that, then the resistance, then the circuit becomes like this. Beam, then you have M1, then you have VDD, and this you have already solved earlier. This you have already solved earlier. As you can see, this is basically the same thing that we studied right now here. As you can see here, we have this configuration, right? So now RD will be replaced by RO2. So wherever it is RD, you can replace it by RO2. This RD will be replaced by RO2. So the voltage gain will be minus GM1 RO1 parallel RO2. Earlier it was RD here. So what this tells you is that you try to break the circuit and simplify it and make it in such a way that you come up with the circuit which the derivation of which you already know. So you do in that way. If any complex circuit is there, you try to break it and make it simplified such that you come up at the position where you already know the gain and the input output resistance of that circuit. Any questions here regarding this particular thing? Any one of you have any questions in this particular? Okay. So if it is not, then let us see one more, which is common source with diode connected circuit. So you already know what is diode connected. I have already explained it. So it will be like this. You have a MOSFET M1. This is the common source amplifier. Here you have, a VIN. And then what you do is you connect like this. You connect like this. So this is again another circuit that you have kept on top of M1, and now you know that if you can, if you can find the output resistance of this transistor, then you can replace it by, here, and then you know the answer to this particular configuration. The only thing that you require is to calculate the RO2 of this transistor. So what is the RO2 of this transistor? Anyone can answer this? Can anyone answer this thing? So it's very easy. Again, you draw the small signal equivalent. The answer is GM to VGS. Let us assume lambda equal to 0 here. Let us assume that first. So if lambda is equal to 0, then you have no resistance. And then what you have here is, you have like this. It is grounded because drain is grounded here. What is gate? Gate is also grounded. But now you observe that I am seeing from this side. So it's basically I am seeing from the source terminal of MOSFET M2. So if I am seeing from the source terminal of the MOSFET, then I will apply test voltage here, like this. So if I want to calculate the resistance, I apply KCL here at this node. What is that? The KCL will be IT plus GM2 VGS equal to 0, because both the currents are reaching the node. So what is GM VGS? GM VGS is VG minus VS equal to 0. So that means it is IT plus GM2. VG is grounded, as you can see here, the VG is grounded because it is directly connected to the drain and drain is grounded. That's why VG is also grounded. Oh, sorry, and one more thing here. You have, you have a short between these two also, because um, gate is connected to drain. That's why it is grounded here. So when VG is 0, it is 0 here. What is VS? VS is VT equal to 0. So what is VT over IT? It is 1 by GM 2. So one thing to note here, earlier, if you see our earlier lecture, when I was seeing from this side, earlier also the value was 1 upon GM2, and when I am seeing from this side now, its value is also 1 upon GM2. So that is the important thing for this particular configuration. If you see from top or bottom, answer is same. So if it is 1 by GM2 here, then it's very easy. Now you replace it by 1 over GM2. So the answer is very easy now. The answer is the voltage gain, for this particular configuration. The voltage gain for this already we have calculated it. It is GM1 RD parallel RO, and now RD is 1 over GM2. This already calculated here. This is the one which is RD here, and then it is parallel with RO. And normally it has been found that RO is much greater than 1 upon GM2. This is universal actually. The R resistance, the output resistance is very higher than 1 upon GM2. So if that is the case, you can approximate it as GM1 over GM2, like this. So this is your gain. And one thing to note here is that if your GM1 and GM2 are same, if these two GMs are same, then what will happen is your current gain will be 1 minus 1. Basically it inverts. So this shows that this particular configuration which is given over here has a gain close to 1. So if you simulate this circuit, your gain will be close to 1. That is what is shown over here also. So this is the thing, and the important thing now is you have to analyze yourself. If lambda is not equal to 0, if lambda is not equal to 0 here in this thing, then you will have a R0 like this. Then you have to analyze yourself that what is the answer to this circuit if lambda is not equal to 0. Definitely, if lambda is not equal to 0, then this RO2, rather, it is RO2 now. So this RO2 will play its role. This is RO1 here. So you have to do it yourself. This is an exercise for you people. So any questions here regarding this discussion that we are doing? Any questions, students? So today I have done this two configurations. One is common source with diode connected, and another one is common source with current source load. In the next class, we will discuss more such configurations, and so that you also practice yourself from Behzad Razavi. You see its chapter number. I guess I don't know the chapter. It's 2 or 3. You check it yourself and try to understand what's going on there and solve their questions which are there in the chapter itself. So if you have any questions, then we can discuss. Otherwise, we can close this class today. Any questions, students?